All right, fire on Dalanak. Cruisers, you're good and free to fire. At this point, you're good to just keep going.
72 tops inbound.
Now hear this. Howdy folks, and welcome to another battle breakdown. These are the two battles of August 30th, 2025 on the Sigma Draconis Space Engineer server. Heavy railguns are an extremely scarce resource. The only ones on the server have been rewards for events. However, the server admins have been teasing a dedicated ring system for farming heavy rails from NPCs. On the night of the 29th, one day before our battle, the opening of such a system was confirmed. Adro, the new ring system, was to become accessible on the 1st of September, in 2 days, and Ariel was opening the day before. Whichever nation controlled Ariel would have an easier time getting supplies in and out of the nearby ring gate, and therefore have an edge in getting the first heavy rails. Everyone was interested. Let's set the stage. Mars previously controlled Ariel and couldn't recapture it. That left the fighting to the UN and OPA. Due to the short notice, both nations had to rush to rally ships on the day of. The Earthers rallied directly over Ariel and began the capture, while the Belters, who had a much greater turnout, stayed away until their entire fleet had assembled. Both fleets turned out balanced in ship composition, mixing ships focused on both torpedo and railgun warfare, but the OPA fleet ended up being twice the size of its UN counterpart. Because of its size, the OPA fleet split into two formations. These formations, the fixing group and the ambush group, would attempt to ambush and pincer the UN fleet. The fixing group was led by yours truly, and the ambush group my good friend Alpha. Each formation also had at least one squadron leader who would help coordinate the fleet and be backup commander. Finally, after nearly an hour of rallying ships, the Belter fleet departed. What was meant to happen was that the ambush group stopped 80 kilometers away from the enemy, while the fixing group moved ahead. Then the fixing group would either pull the UN fleet into the waiting ambush group, or keep the UN fleet in place so that the ambush group could drift into range and open up with a surprise volley. This plan fell apart immediately on contact with the enemy. The UN fleet had moved some distance from Ariel just before the two fleets made contact. This meant that the 80-kilometer distance the ambush group was meant to hold turned out more like 40. Additionally, while stopping, a couple new pilots accidentally flared their drives, giving away their position. This happened just as the fixing group entered targeting range with the UN fleet, revealing both OPA formations. The UN fleet immediately turned back towards Ariel, crushing any hopes of an ambush. Surprisingly, once the UN had gained some range, they turned to allow the OPA to close. In contrast to the OPA, their battle plan was simple. The UN fleet was to merge with their enemy, conserving all torpedo volleys until reaching railgun range, 10 kilometers. Then, they would open up with an alpha strike on one ship at a time, before then turning around and opening the gap. At 10 kilometers, it would be nearly impossible for a ship to avoid a torpedo volley, and it would be made harder by the low simulation speed. Simulation speed is the speed the game runs at relative to real time. During large battles, the server lowers the simulation speed to keep up with all the calculations. Because of this, pilots who are used to their ship's performance at 1.0 sim speed could easily overestimate how quickly they could get away. The OPA was about to be caught off guard.
I can count at very least 3 torp ships.
Gotcha. Alright, fire on Dalanak. Cruisers, you're good and free to fire. Stay with Chituka.
Right, cruisers.
Chituka, you're up.
All rails on Delana.
Delana is main target. Get corpse out on them as well. I've got 93 fast movers inbound. Can I get a
Torps launching. War should be fine.
I'm going to
Right,
up to
cruisers.
180. Stay on
Go
Tyrannus,
ahead.
cruisers, stay on Tyrannus.
Cruisers, switch target on Tier Tripoli. Tier Tripoli is our main target.
$77
Should we follow you, Carnation?
No, I'm breaking off.
Alright,
I took a huge torp volley.
alright. Then cruisers, keep our vector. Go full burn towards our vector.
Fleet, turn in towards Uranus. Burn straight for Uranus, get your vector changed, and then move back to forming up with Tyrannus and Carnation.
It's a bit risky for me to burn for Uranus right now. I got torps on the Tyrannus.
Except Matsu. Yeah, burn
30
up.
torps on the Tyrannus.
20?
30, 34.
30.
Right, then fleet, form up on the Carnation. Tyrannus is way out of the position. Don't form up on the Tyrannus.
I'm way out of
Carnation's
position.
out.
This is just, ugh.
Alright, that's bad.
I've got 60 fast movers inbound. I'm probably dead here.
The thrust.
I'm out.
Fuck.
The OPA's greatest strength, its numbers, had turned into its weakness. Let me explain. Turning is the enemy of fleet cohesion. Every time a fleet turns, there will be a mistake. No two ships or pilots, or their internet speed for that matter, are made equally. So, if a fleet turns often and at sharp angles, mistakes will add up until it opens for attack. There are different command styles that mitigate this, but they don't all work for all sizes of fleets. In small fleets, all ships can stay alongside the fleet commander. This allows the fleet to make rapid movements and adjust on the fly. But when a fleet has more ships, picking out the correct ship to follow is much harder. In large battles like this, you can't order the fleet to follow a specific ship. Instead, your pilots need a direction to be heading in at all times. The OPA did none of this. When the plan fell apart, I led the OPA fleet like it was a medium-sized fleet. I ordered the fixing group to follow my ship so we could quickly react to the UN. The formation had previously been following Chituka in the Tyrannus, so suddenly the whole fleet had to find me in a jumbled mess of friendly signals and catch up. By the time they were all moving in the right direction, I was way out ahead and nearly died to a torpedo volley. And then, because I had to pull off to evade torpedoes, the whole fleet needed to find Tyrannus again, now being back to the lead ship. And then the Tyrannus started pulling back, and the whole fleet was playing catch-up again. This repeated itself 3 more times. On the second pass, our fleet was so badly spread out that when I ordered a change in movement, the only ship that could follow was a single escort. All others were out of position or couldn't find me. Both my ship and the escort were destroyed. The only silver lining was that one UN ship, IHP Pancakes is Better Than You, fell wildly out of formation, and both the fixing group and now the arriving ambush group could destroy it. For the third and fourth passes, Alpha with the ambush group and the new fixing group FC, Chituka, did a better job of gathering their ships and pulling off once they'd made contact. But still, the fleet had problems every time it turned to pull away. Ships in formation would end up 10 or more kilometers apart. Some ships would pull off with the wrong fleet group, and the damage done to the enemy was minimal. There needed to be a change. Both OPA fleet groups merged, while Alpha and Chituka took joint command. They quickly reformed their fleet, and just charged.
I still got torps on me, so no trust.
You was
Yeah, I have a Warsaw. I'm managing it.
my U was launching as
Yeah,
well.
Right, nice.
Gun gate,
Okay,
A
for
war
most
fine.
of us.
Keep up the chase. Keep up the chase.
sir?
Yes, yes.
I got 36 fast movers inbound.
I got new peak in my rail range.
The OPA's new approach was far more effective. The fleet's charge kept the enemies running. One at a time, they'd target UN ships and run them down. If an OPA ship was targeted by torpedoes, they were to fall back out of and then pull back into formation. Despite this damaging the formation, the fleet was large enough to absorb the disruption. The FCN Crimson Tear was quickly destroyed. Then, the UN split their fleet, running in two different directions. This divided the OPA's attention, increasing the UN's odds of isolating and killing a ship, even if it doomed them. Additionally, the confusion of the split allowed the FCN new peak to slip away. The first UN group got the bulk of Belter attention, and was quickly destroyed, though not before torpedoing STA Grunwald, a Belter frigate, leaving it shattered. The second UN group received far less attention, causing the lead OPA ship, BTRN Helfen, to overextend and catch a torpedo volley, destroying it. Soon after, the OPA ran down and destroyed one of the remaining ships, and nearly got the other. That ship, JBM Anilo, was about to be caught by the OPA when a Martian ship, under the faction ISD, cut it off and destroyed it instead. That Martian ship, a torpedo ship, proceeded to run circles around the OPA fleet looking for kills. The Belters had to bottle up over Ariel and still lost a ship, the frigate 10-2, in the process. It took about 20 minutes for a fresh OPA torpedo ship to show up and chase them off. Now that the UN had left the area, the OPA consolidated its hold over Ariel. Damaged ships and ships without ammo were pulled out, while fresh ships were pulled in to replace them, as well as any ships lost. Simultaneously, the UN made the same preparations, 100 kilometers from Ariel. Because the UN and OPA were reinforcing in 1s and 2s, both nations could intercept each other's reinforcements. One UN ship, IHP Pancakes, intercepted an OPA ship, LAG Lancer. Not long into the two ships' duel, the SFLY Chocolate Orange 2 arrives and destroys the Pancakes. You can't make these up. Both Belter ships made it to Ariel. Finally, the UN fleet began to close. With the OPA getting as many ships as they'd get, they sallied forwards. The OPA fleet, once again led by yours truly, wasn't as large as before. However, the UN fleet, led by Nigan, was still heavily outnumbered. Additionally, the UN fleet still had isolated ships. Now that the OPA fleet was moving, those ships weren't able to make it to their fleet. As soon as the two forces met, the UN turned around and burned away, keeping a steady range. Slowly, the UN fleet dropped the range to 14 kilometers and fired torpedoes.
WSN Dirge is a torpedo and the JBM is a torpedo, I think.
If the entire enemy fleet starts looking yellow all of a sudden, call them out. Everybody, fall back in line with the bullhead as best you can. Stay within 3 kilometers, or if you can't get within 3 kilometers, be directly behind me. I'm going to need people to pass me here in a second. I think I'm about to be their first target. Yep, cutting thrust, 16 inbound, they're firing.
Look.
Helfen, we're getting too close. Helfen. Yeah.
Tyrannus, you're gonna have to watch out. I am no thrust right now. Alright, I'm bringing my thrust back up. Good job, everybody. We are still burning for Anilo. Keep in mind, still burning for Anilo.
Helfen, 30 symbol.
Okay, gotcha.
Going down.
Yep. Cut your thrust if you get targeted. Main target, and we are burning for the Helvetica. Stay on the Helvetica, that's our main target. Orange, keep it on them if you can. Otherwise, normal torpedo rules apply. After the first few volleys, the UN stopped firing. Good anti-torpedo discipline had kept the OPA fleet safe. If the UN wanted torpedo kills, they would have to slowly overheat their target's PDCs or break up their formation. Now the Earthers slowed until they reached rail range. While they could now damage the OPA fleet, this also left them incredibly exposed. Even worse, they fed their ships into range piecemeal, minimizing the damage each ship did. If it's less than 20, you're good to keep burning. Everybody, new target, FCN Helvetica. It looks like it's dropping into rail range. Preemptively paint drives on Helvetica.
Anyone behind the Draconis?
Helvetia appears to have lost 2 drives now.
Yeah. Other than the fact that you're targeting Helvetica, make sure to keep your focus on staying in assistive PDC range. Stay in 3 kilometers.
Yep. Helvetica isn't able to hit max speed anymore.
Yeah.
Helvetica almost deep dive.
Once its drives are out, change your target to Helvetica's rails.
Yeah, I'm baiting his rails already.
Okay. Once that main drive goes, go for his rails. Okay, its main drive just lost thrust. Gotcha.
He's turning.
It's turning.
Alright, folks, we are going to brush past it. We might have to go PDCs for a second. Just ignore it. Keep thrust.
We're about to hit CQB range with Helvetia.
I'm lighting them up. Everybody light them up.
I'm no longer in.
Penske, you're not in hammer lock? Okay. New target, Crimson Tier then. See if you can knock some of those drives out.
Rapidly approaching.
Good. And everybody tear that ship to pieces. And Crimson Tear is dropping back as well. It looks like they might be going for a rail barrage. Yeah, free focus target, Crimson Tear. Focus target, Crimson Tear. They're going for CQB. Light them up. Everyone's free. It's a brawl. It's a brawl. I'm going guns. Keep all your air war stuff going. They still do have the Penske giving a shot or 2 back at us every once in a while.
Yeah, it's dead. It's 100% dead.
Okay, keep firing on it while you pass it. New target is going to be a Nilo Doge. We're back on a Nilo Doge.
Wasn't in analog of him for a while. I've just regained it, so
Yep, that goes with a key hit.
Gotcha. Okay, I'm pulling off from the torps inbound then, so I can.
George is breaking off. Kipinski, I think Kipinski will make it. Anyone hammerlock?
Finally, as the Nilo Doge went down, the remaining 2 UN ships tried a desperate maneuver. The WSN Dirge made a wide turn and started a run on Ariel to delay the capture, while the FCN Kapensky kept a straight line ahead. Most of the OPA fleet broke off to chase down the Dirge, while some were left to chase the Kapensky. As soon as the 2 fleets were far enough apart, the Kapensky turned around and tried for a kill. However, they weren't able to land any torpedoes and were quickly destroyed by the chasing belters. Meanwhile, the Dirge wasn't faring much better. They had kept out of rail range of the chasing fleet, and they were able to keep individual ships back with torpedoes, but they were on an intercept course with a late, reinforcing OPA ship. The DDG BTRN Sakahiro was able to cut the Dirge off and use its torpedoes to push them back into the guns of the chasing cruisers. Trapped between a DDG and several cruisers, the Dirge was pulled apart. There you have it, folks. Behind me you can see a photo op we took with the OPA ships after we captured Ariel. Ironically, Adro broke and got delayed after they opened it, so this whole exercise was moot, But the battle was really fun. GG to all UN and OPA folks who turned up. And Scary Rabbit. That's the Martian who flew the torpedo ship. You annoying, annoying man. On another note, I'm hoping to make a specifics tactics toolbox episode on how to lead fleets of different sizes. The events of this video really got me thinking about how it works. We really should have just kept our ships together and charged the UN. Any movements other than a fleet's heading could have been handled by standing orders. For instance, if anyone gets targeted by torpedoes, have them call it out and turn around on the spot. That way the fleet doesn't have to turn to cover people. There's a whole plethora of tactical thought I'm working on just around how to turn as little as possible and get your enemy to turn as much as possible. Hopefully when I've got more data, there'll be a video. Finally, I want to say I should be making videos more frequently. I've gotten better at managing my time recently, and that should let me get more done. I've got a whole bunch of video ideas in mind, and far more than just battle breakdowns, so keep your eyes peeled. Please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Godspeed.